There we go. So, David's a senior leader manager at Carmichael Learning Village. He's taught PE there for 12 years, from year 7 through to A level. He's also been involved in the pastoral system, has been ahead of the year for 10 years at Crampington. So, yeah.
We first started using GCSE Pod at Cramlington when basically the local authority brought the package on board. I haven't used it personally in terms of as a PE teacher because the PE materials are in the process of being written as we speak. The whole school is using them. I've got some sort of statistics and figures to show you, and I'll just talk through the presentation here. So basically what we've got on our VLE at school, on our Frog, where on Frog we've got an app on the front page that takes you to the GCSE Pod page. When you get through the GCSE Pod page, there's a range of different subjects. There's 15, 16 subjects now that have been processed. So just go through some of them there. That's all on the subject menu. I've just done it on tabs at the top of the page there, just so there wasn't any issue with the network or anything. So basically, you click on your subject, you click on PE, and it takes you to these chapters. We've got PE, sport, and competition, I believe it is, for GCSE PE. Sub-chapter again, and there's a little pod video that is basically downloadable to any mobile device of the students. Show you a little bit. Got some volume or not?
From the example of the school initiative when it comes to sports college. The idea of the sports college originates from a government initiative that launched back in 1997.
So basically that little pod video is available on the student's phone. You can download straight away. So you can see my download section was empty there. One click of the button asks you to download it to your section and takes it down to your downloadable menu there. So I've got that physical education one in there. What also is a really good feature of this for your students is that there's an exam filter on the front page. So you can filter that down by any subject that's got a pod written about it. So if I randomly click on biology, I think I went to EdXL on there because I knew that there were some exams in November. You click on the exam date of that particular forthcoming exam, and it automatically generates a playlist of revision pods for the students specific to that exam paper. So that opens up there very, very quickly, very, very easily, and you've got a list of all the topics that could potentially be examined on that particular forthcoming biology exam. Rather than clicking download one pod at a time, there's one feature at the bottom, one link. Basically, I have to download every single podcast video, and that'll go to my downloads in an instant, and they're all there for me to revise from, to and from school, is how our students were using them. When I ran my year council meeting just prior to their GCSE exams, they were doing it to and from school, because one of the things they like to do is not not sort of publicise to all their friends that they're actually doing some revision. So it's very discreet, it can be very private, it can be done anywhere. And what this feature is, which I use more as a head of year in the build up the exam, to identify a breakdown of what subjects we're using them. It tells you there what percentage in terms of the handheld devices. And then what's also nice is you have a breakdown of which students are using them, and behind each student it tells you what pod titles they're using. And we set that as revision. In English, it might be the English department set To Kill a Mockingbird. Everyone had to revise by watching that particular podcast. So I can see there that this student has downloaded or viewed those particular pod titles and done some revision on those areas. So as I was saying, in terms of a sort of head of year point of view, I could use this with year 11 intervention students, anybody who was falling behind. We targeted the pods for them, and it just seemed to work really, really well for us. What I wanted to show you is that there's also an app on smartphones. I was going to put it live on the screen, but I wasn't too confident I would be able to do that. So basically on a handheld device, you've got on the app every single subject and every single pod title that's been written, and there's about 2,500 on there, 2,500 different videos, and I think, if my memory serves me right, just to prove how sort of effective these are becoming and how much the students are liking this in terms of how portable and accessible they are, I think the average download in the build-up to the previous GCSEs, I think each month was averaging 250,000 downloads across the country. So the statistics are there that the students like them, our students are using them, and I think in particular it sort of helped those sort of lazier students, the sort of maybe the DC borderlines, because basically the revision is done for them in that it's an audio cast with some quite basic images, just in terms of not taking up too much memory storage on the devices. So that's what we're using. We're using the GCSE pods as one of our sort of revision tools to enhance the students and support during revision at exam times. So are there any questions about that? I just searched GCSE pod on the app search. I don't know the particulars of that, but this gentleman in the back of the hall waving his hand around, Anthony from GCSE pod, he'll answer those sort of specific questions. I've obviously got to say that I'm not plugging that particular software, if you like. We use it; it works for us both as a sort of pastoral responsibility, but also as a subject teacher as well. It works really, really well for us. Not as yet. That's something that we're going to be doing because we've only sort of become familiar with the admin area. So that's something obviously that we'll do. In terms of sort of feedback from the students, I mean, I think the English department, they had 2,100 downloads. So the number of downloads that the students seem to like it, but in terms of impact, obviously that's the next thing that the senior team will want to know. Haven't done any yet, none whatsoever, just sort of word of mouth. There was an email went around saying this is available. The app on the front page just appeared, but that's something that I've said to our senior team today that I need to sort of do the presentation on a sort of bigger scale with our staff. Showed somebody on the corridor today, said, "Have you seen this?" And it was exactly what he was teaching in chemistry today to year 9s, and he was amazed that it was there. We just haven't had an opportunity to share that yet.